headlines for tonight, the Department of Foreign Affairs concerns over declaring a Chinese diplomat as persona non grata. Ex-Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte's camp challenges the International Criminal Court ruling stating that the former leader is fit to trial. President Marcos calls for a responsive and people-centered police force on the Philippine National Police Day. The Supreme Court upholds dismissal of Vice President Sara Duterte impeachment case. And former South Korean First Lady Kim Kyon-hee faces 20 months in prison for bribery. Good evening, bringing you the latest news for tonight. I am ALVIN. This is Eurotv News Thread. The details in our broadcast. The Foreign Affairs Department shows concern over declaring a foreign diplomat as persona non grata, prompting a downgrade of relations and other countermeasures. But the Chinese embassy stands still that the only chief executive could order him to leave the country. Here's the report.
The Department of Foreign Affairs on Thursday expressed concerns over declaring a foreign ambassador as persona non grata. This follows the municipality of Kalayaan, Palawan, release of resolution seeking to declare Chinese ambassador to the Philippines, Jing Quan, as persona non grata. The measures are in line with the statements and reactions made by the Chinese embassy against government officials that continued their stance over the sovereign rights of the Manila in the West Philippine Sea. On a statement announced by Malacanang Palace from the DFA, the declaration of persona non grata is the most severe forms of diplomatic actions, as the DFA warns of possible trigger downgrading of relations, reciprocal moves, and other counterparts.
The declaration of persona non grata is one of the most severe forms of diplomatic action that can be imposed by the government against foreign diplomatic personnel. While it is within the remit of the DFA, such an action is an option of last resort.
The DFA insists that it should be done through diplomacy, dialogues, and careful considerations before declaring a diplomat as persona non grata. In a statement released by the Chinese embassy in Manila, Ambassador Jing is ready to leave the Philippines once being ordered by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The embassy noted that Chinese President Xi Jinping has appointed him and Marcos received the said appointment. Beijing's embassy adds that they are expecting closure but warns Manila to continue for a pushback slanders and smear against China through various channels. During the ASEAN Foreign Ministers Retreat meeting, one of the key topics being discussed is the Code of Conduct in the South China Sea, something that the Philippines wants to finalize and to de-escalate the tensions in the West Philippine Sea. This is ALVIN for Eurotv News.
The camp of then Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte challenges the decision of the International Criminal Court Pre-Trial Chamber 1 that a former leader is fit to trial based on the interviews and medical examinations. Mia Layagin tells us more.
4 months after the confirmation hearing on former President Rodrigo Duterte's charges was postponed, the International Criminal Court Pre-Trial Chamber 1 ordered the continuation of the court proceedings. In a decision, the Pre-Trial Chamber 1 found that Duterte is fit to stand trial and has the capacity to participate in the trial. It can be recalled that the court postponed the initial confirmation hearing, considering the defense's submission on Duterte's deteriorating health and cognitive condition. In the newest decision, ICC said that they have considered Duterte's interviews, assessments, and medical examinations and found that he can stand before a trial. These findings were immediately rejected by Duterte's camp, submitting an appeal against the decision. In a notice of appeal, the defense argued that the court erred in law and of fact when it disregarded the medical reports from their camp's neurologist and neuropsychologist indicating findings regarding Duterte's deteriorating health and compromised cognitive condition. These, the defense says, will be a factor to consider in regards to the necessity of a detention. With this, they appeal for the reversal of the decision, requesting as well the immediate interim release of Duterte. A day before the appeal was filed, the pretrial Chamber 1 released the schedule and directions in regards to the confirmation hearing of charges next month. The prosecution, common legal representatives of victims, and the defense have 30 minutes each for their opening and closing statements. The prosecution have 2 hours and 30 minutes for their submission of merits, while the CLRV have 1 hour and 30 minutes. The defense has 3 hours and 30 minutes for their submissions. These time allocations will be divided in 4 session days of hearing set on February 23, 24, 26, and 27. Aside from the schedule of the confirmation hearing, the court is also in preparation for the hearing on review of detention done at least once a year after an individual was arrested and detained. The hearing will focus on the circumstances regarding the necessity of a continued detention on Duterte's end. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
During the Philippine National Police Day, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. calls for a more responsive and people-centered police force while recognizing the hard work of 210,000-strong police force. Henry Nicolas has more.
President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos congratulated the officers and personnel of the Philippine National Police and called for a more responsive, reliable, and people-centered police force as the country marked the first ever Philippine National Police Day. In his message, the President recognized the hard work of PNP personnel since the work of the police has become more demanding and the Filipino people expect effectiveness, requiring them to arrive and provide help quickly and demand respectful and competent law enforcers. The Commander-in-Chief vows in strengthening training that improves decision-making in every real situations, investing in systems that shorten response times and enforcing accountability mechanisms that protect both the public and the honest police officer.
Investing in systems that shorten response times and enforcing accountability mechanisms that protect both the public and the honest police officer. As we build a bagong Pilipinas, peace and order remain fundamental for growth and public confidence.
President Marcos called on every member of the organization to focus on what matters most: visible presence, disciplined conduct, and service that communities can trust. Earlier today at Camp Crame, Executive Secretary Ralph Recto and the newly sworn PNP Chief Police General Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. led the PNP Day celebration. The event honored officers, personnel, and stakeholders who have been effective in maintaining peace and order and delivering excellent results for their units. In his message, Nartates assured the public that they can rely on the police, driven by his focused agenda. This plan aims to strengthen police operations, integrity monitoring, and the morale and welfare of personnel while also boosting community partnerships centered on people-centered policing.
This event reflects the evolution of the Philippine National Police, from its early foundation to its present role as a modern, professional, community-oriented, and rights-based police organization.
This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
The Philippine Supreme Court upholds its decision to declare the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte as unconstitutional, while Makabayan Bloc pushes for a new impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Mia Layagin has the report.
The Supreme Court en banc denied with finality the House of Representatives' motion for reconsideration challenging the dismissal of the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte last year. Via unanimous vote, the SC reaffirmed its July 25 decision declaring the articles of impeachment against Duterte as unconstitutional due to lack of due process and violation of the one-year bar rule. The High Court explained that while an impeachment complaint was initiated under the right process, the 3 complaints was not included in the House's order of business within 10 session days as required by the rules. The court further clarified that the complaint may be initiated under the purpose of one-year bar rule given these circumstances. First, the verified complaint was referred to the House Justice Panel. Second, if the complaint was not included in the order of business within 10 session days or referred to the panel within 3 session days after this. And third, if there were no articles of impeachment transmitted to the Senate before the lower chamber adjourns. SC also affirmed that due process of law shall be applied in the impeachment process given that the grounds of the complaint is based on the Constitution, governed by the Congress's rules of impeachment, and that all endorsing members should have a copy of the complaint and of the evidence. Under these reasons, the court upholds its first decision, affirming that it is immediately executory and cannot be appealed thereafter. Following this, Makabayan Bloc acknowledged the decision of the High Court, but emphasized too that this makes the impeachment process difficult. The group argued that the SC's decision wrote rules for impeachment that is more in favor of impeachable officials. Despite the ruling, the group believes that the allegations against Duterte are enough to pursue another impeachment attempt and that they are ready to refile a complaint after the one-year bar rule expires on February 6. With this, Makabayan Bloc hopes to hold Duterte accountable of the issues tied with her, including the confidential funds scandal, which they cited as an act of betrayal of public trust.
Ang pag-file muli ng impeachment complaint laban sa Vice President kaugnay sa pagwaldas ng 612.5 million na confidential fund. Hindi po magbabago yan. Sinusulong po natin ang panawagan ng taong bayan, lahat ng sangkot dapat managot. Magsimula tayo sa pinakatuktok, sa Presidente at sa Vice Presidente.
This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
Amid the alarming cases of Nipah virus in India, the Philippine Health Bureau reported a number of cases of the disease detected in the Philippines in 2014, but convincing the public not to pose alarm as it braces a more stricter screening for the travelers. Vanessa Cleophas tells us more.
The Department of Health or DOH reportedly recorded the country's first 17 cases of the Nipah virus in Sultan Kudarat in 2014. The affected patients had consumed contaminated horse meat. According to experts, Nipah is zoonotic disease transmitted from animals. It is passed to pigs and horses from fruit bats, which are the primary carrier of the virus. The virus can be transmitted to human through eating or drinking contaminated food, while human-to-human transmission may also occur through close contact with an infected person. Nipah has severe effects once it attacks the brain and lungs, resulting in encephalitis and meningitis or inflammation of the brain, as well as severe pneumonia. Common symptoms of Nipah include fever accompanied by headache, vomiting, body pain, sore throat, dizziness, drowsiness, and altered mental status or confusion. Patients may also experience severe pneumonia, serious respiratory problems, seizures, and coma within 24 to 48 hours. Based on studies by the World Health Organization or WHO, the incubation period of the Nipah virus ranges from 4 to 14 days. The fatality rate is between 40% and 75%, which is higher than COVID-19. However, the DOH clarified that Nipah spreads slowly while COVID-19 is highly transmissible. Measles is said to spread even faster than Nipah. In terms of mortality, Nipah reportedly has a higher death rate compared to COVID-19 and measles. There is currently no vaccine for Nipah. Individuals who test positive can only be treated through supportive care. WHO studies also revealed that Cambodia, Ghana, Indonesia, Madagascar, Thailand, and the Philippines are among the countries with natural reservoir of the Theropus bat species and other types of bats. Despite this, the DOH has eased public concern over the disease. According to the agency, Nipah is not new in the Philippines and it assured the public that it is prepared and on alert for the virus. Health Assistant Secretary and spokesperson Albert Domingo said that stricter travel and restriction are not being recommended at this time, but surveillance and monitoring are currently ongoing. The DOH is urging travelers to be honest in their health declarations on the e-travel platform. The Bureau of Quarantine or BOQ has also begun thermal scanning and observation of individuals entering and leaving the country. As a result, around 100 close contacts were immediately placed under isolation in Thailand. Countries implementing strict border control measures such as Nepal and Thailand are doing so because they have direct flights to the affected country. Meanwhile, the DOH advised the public to consume only pork approved by the National Meat Inspection Service and to thoroughly cook and wash all foods. According to the WHO Research and Development Blueprint, Nipah virus is one of the 10 diseases being monitored and prioritized for research alongside COVID-19 and Zika due to its potential to cause an epidemic. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
The local chief executive of Manila warns over the LGU officials and employees that will engage in corrupt practices as he pushes for a one-strike policy. Catherine Landicho reports.
Manila City Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso has issued a stern warning to local government officials and employees who have planned to engage in corrupt practices, as he pushed for the strict implementations of a one-strike policy in the city. According to Dumagoso, while he admits that no government, especially one as large as local government unit, is perfect, he assures that the public that anyone proven to be involved in wrongdoing will face swift action and clear consequence. The mayor stressed that any official caught committing acts of corruption will be immediately dismissed from service without delay.
Pag may nag-commit na nanulongges ng mamamayan, wala na kagad trabaho. In fact, modesty aside, 1 hour after when we found out, thanks to Visor, yun, tanggal na kagad sa trabaho.
Dumagoso added that the policy serves as a clear warning to all local government officials that he will not tolerate any form of corruption in the city. This follows the recent dismissal of traffic enforcer in Manila who allegedly extorted money from driver after a traffic violation. Under the existing one-strike policy, the enforcer was promptly removed from his post. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
6 Chinese nationals and over 60 Filipinos were found on site being involved in the illegal cigarette factory operations in Pampanga, allegedly using smuggled materials lacking proper documentation. Shai Morales has the report.
The Bureau of Customs raided a suspected illegal cigarette factory in Barangay Panipuan, Mexico, Pampanga on Wednesday, January 28. The operation followed a report on the alleged unauthorized local production of cigarettes inside a warehouse without appropriate permits. Authorities discovered cigarettes branded as True Moon, along with cigarette-making machines and paraphernalia bearing the brands Mighty, H&P, Playboy, and Carnival. According to the BOC, the machines and raw materials are suspected to be smuggled due to the lack of proper documentation. Tax stamps were also found inside the compound and will undergo verification by the Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR. In line with this, 6 Chinese nationals and 63 Filipinos believed to be involved in the illegal operation were found at the site. The BOC is now coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration to verify the legal status of the foreign nationals. Inventory and evaluation of the seized items are ongoing as authorities investigate possible violations of customs, tax, immigration, and other related laws. This is Shai Morales reporting for Eurotv News.
Aiming to protect the marine biodiversity in the waters of Occidental Mindoro, the Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office conducted a reef assessment. Here's Catherine Landicho for the details.
A reef assessment was recently conducted in Barangay Tubili, Paluan, Occidental Mindoro as part of the local government's continuing efforts to protect marine resources and evaluate the current conditions of coral reefs in the area. The activity aimed to determine the overall health of the coral reefs, including the extent of coral cover and abundance and diversity of fish and other marine organisms. Through actual diving and careful observation, valuable data were gathered to serve as a basis for developing conservation and reef rehabilitation program. Coral reefs are vital ecosystems that provide habitat for various species of fish and marine life and serve as a primary source of livelihood for many fishermen in the community. In this regard, the reef assessment also sought to document the actual conditions of the reefs to ensure they receive appropriate protection. As part of the long-term plan, the area is being considered for inclusion as protected marine zone through its designations as marine protected area to ensure the continued growth and preservation of its marine resources. The Municipal Environment and Natural Resources or MENRO expressed its gratitude to Barangay Tobili for its cooperations in organizing and protecting the area's natural resources. Appreciation was also extended to the Provincial Planning and Development Office for lending the equipment used during the risk assessment. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
Former South Korean First Lady Kim Yon-hee were sentenced for 20 months in prison for bribery case. Based on the Seoul court, Kim has found accepting luxury gift from a unification church. Son Santiago with the details.
A South Korean court has sentenced former First Lady Kim Kon-hee to 20 months in prison after finding her guilty of accepting bribes. The Seoul Central District Court ruled on Wednesday that Kim accepted luxury gifts including 2 Chanel bags and a diamond necklace from a Unification Church official in 2022 in exchange for business favors. Meanwhile, her involvement in stock manipulation charge was dismissed. It can be recalled that she was accused of earning more than 800 million won or about 32 million pesos by conspiring with others to artificially inflate the stock price of Deutsche Motors, a South Korean car dealership between 2009 and 2012. The ruling, however, made prosecutors to seek a much harsher penalty, including 15 years in prison and a 2 billion won fine. Meanwhile, Kim's legal team has also sought to appeal this decision. Kim was arrested last August 2025 after the Seoul District Court issued an arrest warrant on her. She now joins her husband, ousted ex-President Yoon Suk-yeol, after being sentenced to 5 years of prison for abuse of power after a shocking declaration of martial law in December 2024. This said martial law only lasted for 6 hours. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
7 years after their last tour in the Philippines, the South Korean Chinese boy band EXO returns to Manila as part of their Planet 6 X Horizon. Sam Martes has more.
The South Korean Chinese boy band EXO is set to return to the country for their EXOplanet No. 6 X Horizon World Tour concert. In an Instagram post, the group released the official poster for their 6th concert, which will feature a 2-day performance. X Horizon marks EXO's first tour since all members completed their mandatory military service. Aside from Manila, the group will visit includes Seoul, Ho Chi Minh City, Nagoya, Bangkok, Macau, Osaka, Jakarta, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, Tokyo, Kaohsiung, and Singapore. It can be recalled that the group last visited the country in 2019, where the EXOplanet No. 5 The X Horizon Tour took place after 7 years, which includes Suhu, Baekhyun, Chen, Chanyeol, Kai, and Sehun. Meanwhile, the ticket prices for the concert have not yet been announced. The 2-day EXO concert will take place on July 4 and 5 at SM Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay City. This is Sam Martos for Eurotv Showbiz News.
That's the latest news for tonight. You may visit EuroTVPH.com for more news and information. You may also catch our live broadcast through our social media accounts and via an Stream channel. I am ALVIN PELOBELLO. Thanks for joining us. This is Eurotv News Thread. Stay safe. Have a good night, everyone.